If you have chronic joint pain, then you need to hear what I'm going to say in this video, because this is going to change the joint pain that you have forever. It's going to change the game for you. Now, here we go. My name is Jarrett Phelps. I'm a kinesiologist and health coach, and I help people move better and feel better. And today we're going to talk about joint pain and how do you get rid of joint pain, because this is one of the things that people come to me the most with, is some sort of pain in their joints. And it seems like one of those things that's the hardest thing to get rid of, because people simply don't understand what causes joint pain. Now, I've made videos on different kinds of things that help you get rid of some of your joint pain, right? But in this video, we are going to talk about nutrition. Now, I know people are like, what does nutrition have to do with my sore knees, my achy knees? It has everything to do with your sore achy knees. It does. I'm going to explain here. I'm going to explain this, right? So if you look up arthritis, right? And that's like the highest form of joint pain, right? And especially it's chronic, right? So a lot of people are like, dang, I got arthritis here, I got arthritis there. If you look up arthritis, it is an inflammation of joints, right? It's an inflammation of joints, right? How do you get inflamed? Inflammation is an immune system response, right? So inflammation is not good nor bad, right? It's actually your body just reacting to what's in its environment. For example, if you roll your ankle, your body, go ahead, most of the time, it gets inflamed. So what does that mean? It gets swollen. When it gets swollen, this is your body's way of protecting itself. One, it's limiting the range of motion by sending swelling there, so you don't move the injured joint around a lot, so it gets time to heal, right? So you send a lot of fluid there. Second, it's sending blood flow and other things there, and in your blood is nutrients, right? And when that is sent to whatever area that's inflamed, the whole point of that is to make sure that you get the proper nutrients to rebuild that area yet again. Because if you injure, let's say, a tissue, right, whether this is a muscle tissue or a ligament or a tendon, you're going to need nutrients to repair it, and this is going to come from your blood flow. The reason why muscles tend to heal faster than a ligament or a tendon is because muscles have capillaries and they can get blood flow. Otherwise, you don't get blood flow in a ligament or a tendon, right? You can get it by moving it, but you need to do high reps, which is why tendons and ligaments take longer to heal. So if you want to get rid of the pain that you have there, especially if it's chronic, you have to look at your inflammation levels. Because if your inflammation levels are high, there is no corrective exercise or stretch that I could give you that's going to take that away. There are things that can happen temporarily, like if you stretch something, right? If you stretch something, then it might work a little bit better, right? It might work a little bit better. But what's going to happen tomorrow? Are you going to have to do that stretch again and again and again? Is the stretch actually going to help, or is it just going to push your symptoms back further and further and further until you realize that you've been pushing the symptoms back further and further, but also you haven't gotten any better, right? So we need to get to a point where we are getting ahead of the issue. We are getting ahead of the problems. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we're not inflaming ourselves for no good reason. And most people, the way they eat inflames themselves for no good reason. I can't tell you the amount of clients that I've had that have had chronic back pain, whether they're running, walking, playing a sport, just living life. They have chronic back pain that's not going away. And I give them some stretches and we stretch them out, and then we do some massage stuff, and I teach them some cool tricks to do. But overall, the only thing that helps them get rid of that, if it's a chronic state and they're eating like crap, is cleaning up their diet. And here's why. This is specifically for your back, but I'm going to explain in general what you can do, right? But we'll say you have low back pain, right? You have low back pain. If you are eating things that are inflaming your gut, right? They're inflaming your gut. What's going to happen is where inflammation is, that area is unstable. because it's sending fluid there. So now instead of having your bone maybe like a little synovial fluid in between it and then some cartilage and bone again, now you have a whole bunch of other fluid there, which makes it harder for the body to stabilize itself, right? One, because it's in pain, and then two, it has extra fluid there. When you have extra fluid somewhere, it makes that area unstable. For instance, in your low back, if you have a bunch of inflammation happening in your guts, in your organs, it is going to make it harder for your back muscles to stabilize, right? Because now you have pressure from the organs pushing in places that they normally don't push. Secondly, you have blood flow going to areas that basically away from the area that you're trying to stabilize. If you're trying to stabilize your back, but when you're inflamed, again, you're sending blood flow to that inflammation place, then you're taking blood flow away from the area that should be stabilizing, and now you have something that now you've created this pressure, and that pressure starts to make things function not at its optimal level, right? If you have pressure pushing on your discs, right, you're going to start to have some sort of pain, and your discs are going to be somewhat unstable, right? This is going to happen at many different levels. And when I say many different levels, especially for your back, you have vertebral discs, right? You have a disc that's in between every single spinous process, and in your spine you have a whole bunch of these little things just going up your spine, right? There's a bunch of them, and if we don't get to a point where those are not unstable because of inflammation, it makes it very difficult for you to walk, run, jog, throw, jump, land, squat, deadlift, get out of a chair, put your shoes on without pain. Because if you constantly have inflammation, something that's making your discs unstable, and you're changing the environment that your body knows how to work in, then it becomes incredibly difficult for your body to just move and function how it normally should. Makes it incredibly difficult for that to happen. So how does nutrition get involved with that? Again, if you're eating things that are inflaming you, for instance, that are inflaming your gut, and to be fair, I've seen inflammation mostly attack areas of weakness. So if you've had a prior injury, for me, this happens all the time. When I'm eating stuff I'm not supposed to be eating, like a bunch of gluten, a bunch of flour, a bunch of sugar, right? A bunch of carbs that I normally don't have, that have all sorts of artificial things in it, my body, it starts to get inflamed. And I can kind of feel the pressure, I'll get like a little bit swollen hands, maybe my feet get a little bit swollen, but my ankle that I broke, that gets inflamed. I could not be doing anything. I could not be doing anything for a week before and a week after, and I will still feel the inflammation in this ankle. Right? I will still feel that inflammation, and I don't know why it tends to attack those areas, but it does. It does. So if you have any prior injury and you start eating like shit, right, your body is going to start to attack those previous areas. I don't know exactly why it does that, but that's what happens all the time. You got a bad back, you feel like you got a bad back, I bet you when you have too many cookies, you're going to start feeling it in your back. And if you always feel it in your back, you're going to feel it in your back even more when that happens, right? So when you clean up your diet, and here's what I mean by cleaning up your diet, eating natural whole foods. When I say natural, I mean things that grow in the wild, or that, things that you can grow, cultivate, catch, fish, pick off a tree, right? Pick off a bush, grow it in your backyard, or grow it in some sort of farm. Those are the foods that you want to be eating, right? Yes, this gets rid of most bread and snacks, right? I'm not saying that those things will kill you. I'm saying that the more unnatural it is to the body, if you have to do any sort of process to it, right, it becomes unnatural to the body. And it's not that you can't do a process for anything. It's that when your body ingests things that it doesn't know what to do with, it just stores it, and not only do you not get any benefits nutrition wise, you also just get pain associated with that, because your body that inflammation response that I was saying earlier, that happens. If your body doesn't recognize something, it makes your immune system kick up and function. This, a lot of the times, your immune system is going to kick out inflammation to isolate a certain area and eliminate what's in the area. But what happens if you keep inflaming yourself multiple times a day when you eat? You inflame yourself in the morning, you inflame yourself with your snack, you inflame yourself at lunch, you inflame yourself with your snack, you inflame yourself at dinner, and then you inflame yourself again with alcohol, right? If you continue to do these things, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for you. Your joints are going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to function far below your capacity to actually function. And then what's going to happen is you're going to try to get some medication or some super supplements to help put yourself back together, and it's not going to work. And then you're going to have to watch a video like this and with some guy with glasses yelling at you, telling you to clean up your diet. And then eventually maybe you'll listen, and then you won't have any pain anymore. That's the cycle. That's the cycle. That's what happens. That's what happens, okay? Because it happens to me. It doesn't really happen to me now because I'm the guy on the camera and screaming at the people to clean yourself up. But it's happened to me in the past, and it'll happen to me now. Like if I have too much, like I was saying before, if I have too much random stuff that I know I'm not supposed to be having, right? My body tells me. Regardless whether you know it or not, your body is telling you things. Your body speaks a language, and it is constantly communicating with you something. If you're constantly getting inflamed, this is telling you that your immune system is constantly being kicked on by something. Your immune system is always on. However, if you have an extra threat, your immune system is really 911. It sends all forces to that area. If you constantly have to break the glass and press the red button every time you eat, you are going to deplete yourself of energy. You're going to deplete yourself of nutrients. One, of energy, because you're not going to have the proper energy that you need because your body is always inflaming itself, meaning that it's having to deal with a crisis. Also, if you are trying to, if you're always dealing with a crisis, your immune system is not going to function well because you're preoccupied. You're not going to be able to digest your food properly because you're preoccupied, right? When you get inflamed and when you have inflammation, this is constantly going to smash the glass and press the red button, and you're scrambling the jets every time you do that, and that causes you to lose a lot of energy. Your body is always trying to save itself, but if we don't realize that if you are constantly inflamed, if you are constantly bloated, this stuff matters. Bloating is going to wreck your lower back because you're not going to have the stability that you need in those back muscles to actually stabilize yourself. Right? So if that is happening to you over and over and over and over and over again, and you need a solution, the solution is to clean up your diet. And again, cleaning up your diet looks like this, just in case you didn't know. Again, this is eating foods that naturally occur in the wild. I'm not going to tell you to be vegan. I'm not going to tell you to be vegetarian. I'm not going to tell you to be pescatarian. I'm not going to tell you to be paleo. I'm going to tell you that, or carnivore, right? I'm not going to tell you any of those things. I'm going to tell you eat real foods. Then start to realize what happens to your body. Pay attention to what happens to your body after you eat that food about 20 to 30 minutes after. Do you get extremely tired, right? Do you start to feel inflamed? Are you noticing, if you're watching your heart rate, are you noticing an uptick and a spike in your heart rate, right? Are you noticing that you get extremely tired after you eat certain meals? Are you noticing that you feel a little bit more energized after you eat certain meals? Like, you have to pay attention to that stuff and then adjust accordingly. But most people don't want to do this, and they just completely rely on eating whatever the fuck they want and then dealing with the consequences later. And sometimes your body incurs so much damage that you can only go back so far until you have to, replace an organ, which can't really happen yet, or you have to replace a joint, or you're in a boot, or you're in a cast, or you have like gout or something like that, or you start to have all these diseases pop up in your body, dis-ease happen in your body just because your body is constantly inflamed by the things that you're eating. And again, this this goes to any injury that you have. If you have an injury, you have no business inflaming your body, because now you're taking away resources, you're taking away nutrients that are actually going to help restore the tissues in your body. And if you're taking away the resources and the nutrients to do that, it becomes extremely difficult for you to bounce back from anything if you don't have the proper raw materials, which is nutrients in your body, right? So we have to realize that that is number one: eating real foods, real fucking foods, real foods. If you are questioning whether the food is real or not, it's probably fucking fake. That's it. It's probably fake. Like, that's it. It's probably fake. Like, a real food, right? If you're getting it from the middle of the grocery aisle, not a real food. Why? Because they can put preservatives in there, because real food normally doesn't have a good shelf life, right? Real food, like a fruit, a vegetable, like a meat, right? Real foods, right? Things that are minimally processed or not processed at all, right? Those are going to be real foods. Now, along with that, we have to hydrate the body. I'm going to briefly just go by this, but if you really want to understand hydration and how that can help you as well, because there's multiple layers of really getting rid of your joint pain, but I have a video on hydration. If you just look on my channel, it's a hydration video, and I explain all of the different things. But I'm going to give you the cliff notes right now, and you can dive a little bit deeper into the video. But hydration is going to be an important factor when it comes to improving your joint pain as well. And I lump it into nutrition because it's anything that you're really putting in your mouth, right? And hydration is basically going to be this. It has 3 steps. Step one is going to be you taking in and ingesting some type of water, right? This water can come in the form of actual water that you're drinking. It could come from a fruit juice. It could come from a vegetable or a fruit, right? Because they actually have water in them, right? So you are getting your water source from somewhere. You definitely want to make sure that you are getting your water source from somewhere that is clean and that your body can break down. Things that are clean are going to be water that is not too acidic, because if the water is too acidic, this means that it's not going to have minerals and nutrients in it. And if it doesn't have minerals and nutrients in it, it's going to be hard for your body to do step 2, which is absorb the water. So step 1 is taking in water, and you can take in water in a couple different forms. Again, actual water that you're drinking from fruit and from vegetables, right? That's how you take in water. Also, you can take in water from an IV, but you're not really going to be doing that all the time, but hence dehydration, and that's how they solve dehydration, right? But that's one part of dehydration. And again, there's 3. So that's one part. Part 2 is absorbing that water, your body's ability to actually take up that water, right? If you are eating, or if you're eating fruits and vegetables, your body loves this source of water because it's already structured, right? And your body is always going to turn water into structured water. So the more you consume structured water, the better it's going to be for your body, because it doesn't have to add minerals and nutrients and all these things to the water, right? This means that you're going to have to start pulling minerals and things from your body to actually structure the water. If you are consuming structured water, which is going to be in the form of fruits and vegetables, or fruit juices and things like that, and even putting some sort of trace elements or some sea salt in your water as you're drinking it, because this has minerals and this helps your body uptake the water. Because if you just have water, your body's like, great, fantastic, we have water, but I don't like it like that. So I'm not going to absorb as much as I can. It's not that you drink water, your body absorbs none, but you want your body to absorb as much water as possible, because if you look at the scientific data, we are anywhere between 60 and 75% water. So that is a very big part of water, and we need to make sure that our body is hydrated in order to move properly and in order to not not really be running into any sort of inflammation issues or any sort of joint pain issues, right? So we need to be able to absorb that water. Then we need to make sure that the water gets to the right place, right? So again, the 3 steps are going to be take in water, absorb that water, and then making sure that that water gets to the right place. Those are the 3 things. Now, when I talk about getting water to the right place, getting water to the right place means this. Water has to get to your joints, right? They have to, again, your tendons and ligaments don't have their own blood supply, and you have lymph nodes all over your body, right? So because tendons and ligaments don't make their own blood supply, right, blood has to be pumped through them. And the only way that happens is when you basically manually pump it through. So how are your ligaments and tendons in your shoulders going to get blood flow to them? You have to move them around, right? That's going to be one of the only ways, or one of the best ways, to make sure that those ligaments and tendons start to heal themselves quicker and they're functioning properly. You're going to want to move them around, because quite literally some water can't get some places because it's not moved that way. So you have to move them around. I'm saying for your shoulders, but that goes all over. That goes for your spine, that goes for your hips, your knees, your back, your ankle, your toes, your hands, your neck, right? All of those things. You must be moving your body around to move the different water around in your body. Next, I said we have lymph nodes. Now, lymph nodes are very, very important in terms of just getting and clearing junk out of your body, right? So this is going to be, it's not quite hydration, right? But it is a part, it's like a sewage system, right? So it helps get rid of nutrients so that you can absorb nutrients better. And this goes along the form of moving. Once you move your body, these lymph nodes function a little bit better. They actually are able to clear the junk out pretty well, right? So just moving your body, absorbing water and drinking water dramatically changes your hydration level, and it changes the hydration level of your tissues. Quite literally, if you have dried up tissues, it's going to be painful on your joints, and you'll be getting some sort of pain signals, right? So that is it. I'm going to stop on this video because I can go for a long time. It's already been 20 minutes, right? But I hope you guys take away something from this video. And if you didn't take away something from this video, just watch it again. I know I went on some rants, but it's because it's the easiest way I can get through to people that it's important to take care of your body. And taking care of your body is simple. It's mostly not having the wrong stuff. Because your body is so, if you don't have a lot of stuff that doesn't benefit you positively, you actually thrive. That's really it. That's all I got to say. Like at the end, that's it. If you have less shit in your body, if you consume less junk, your body will thrive. Your body will also somewhat function. No, actually your body will function if you're putting in junk. But if you want to reach that next tier, that optimal level, if you want to get rid of, you know, the current level that you're at, if that level is not good enough for you, one of the ways is going to be optimizing your nutrition. And in optimizing your nutrition, you're taking in less junk and you're taking in more nutrients. It's just that, it's that simple, right? But people overcomplicate it. And it is easy to overcomplicate because you have so many different choices and options. But eat real foods and drink real water. And put some pink Himalayan sea salt or Celtic sea salt or Baja Gold in your water. That's it right there. Like, if you just forwarded to the end of the video, you just got all the sauce right there. Right there. Right there. People think I'm joking, but I can't tell you how many people have had chronic joint pain. I got medication this, I got surgery that, and medication this, and then all of a sudden we make sure and we're strict about, hey, let's clean this up and get some real nutrients in your body and hydrate your body, and all of a sudden they are like, whoa, I got all this clarity, I got all this function. Like, I'm mimicking one of my clients, but literally they said that, right? It is just from hydrating their body and just taking care of their body, doing less bullshit, and actually putting in some other stuff that's better for them. That's it. It's that simple. That's it. I'm going to stop yelling at you guys. Peace.